I've come here to say today that sometime there will come a time in your life where you will sit and you will self-reflect. You'll self-reflect your life. You will self-reflect yourself, where you are, where you came from, and where you want to be and where you're going. So sometimes there comes a time in life where we don't know where we're going, but there's a place that we need to be. Even though we don't know where we're going, but there's a place we need to be. So in order to get to the place we need to be, sometimes, don't worry about exactly where you're going. Just make sure you're prepared on your journey. And one thing that will prepare you on your journey is evaluating the energies and people, family and friends you have around you in your circle. Something that I did have to learn is that everything works in a cycle. Every year we have the seasons. We have winter, spring, summer, fall. Even the clouds have a cycle of rain, of different rain clouds, stratus clouds, a lot of different clouds. There's cycles or different phases of clouds. Even the moon has different phases and cycles and seasons that it goes through. The earth has different phases and cycles and seasons it goes through. Even water that gives earth life has different phases, channels, cycles, and seasons it go through. A child, a baby, an embryo, have a child have different cycles, seasons, and phases. Even the process of cooking have different cycles, seasons, and phases. You have to understand that time is cycles, seasons, and phases. Everything has a place. And that place of where everything belongs is where that thing is needed. Now, what I want you to understand is that people in your life have cycles, seasons, and phases. The same people that's been in your life as a child may not be in that cycle, season, or phase to go along with you in your enlightenment journey, in your journey of life, in your experience of life. Everyone that you've ever met in your life and call a friend or family member will not go with you. Why? Because people change. That is the point of cycles, seasons, and phases. We all change. And nothing's wrong with changing. However, the thing about it is that beware of those people who don't change. The people who stays the same. The people who is just comfortable and content in the same old ways. The people who just always lives in the past, who can't change their mind, who can't try new things, who can't fathom the thought of where they might be going and where they're needed in the future. The people who feels like if you changing, or because you're changing, or because you're switching up, or because you're enlightening yourself, or because you're going farther than they are, that you're fake because you're changing. You're supposed to change. If you do not change, you are working against divine order of life in this paradigm. everything changes. Our age changes. Everything works in cycles, phases, and changes. So those people around you who are standing still, stuck in time, refuse to change, refuse to grow, refuse to learn new things, refuse to try new things, refuse to wear new things, refuse to do anything to better themselves, refuse to get out of the same toxic cycles and trauma phases that they go through. Will be people in your life who will call you fake and find a reason to dislike you because you're going through a change or phase or cycle. Do not be afraid to change. Do not be afraid to go to a different level of enlightenment, a different level of wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Do not be afraid of that. Everyone cannot go with you. You know how you get on an elevator and there's always a weight limit on an elevator? It's like that for a reason. Because if there's too many people trying to go up with you, you're going to come tumbling down. You cannot take everyone with you. If too many people get in that elevator with you, that elevator would not move up. And it's a shame because, to elevate yourself, you have to go up. The elevator is not going to stand still when a lot of people just come onto the elevator at the maximum capacity, at the maximum weight. Instead of going up, that elevator is going to fall all the way back down to the ground. And everybody aboard that elevator has the potential of dying, of being unalived. Just because you try to take everyone with you, no one ends up making it. You have to lose that empathy, that compassion that you have, more compassion for yourself. Remove that empathy and passion from that person who refuses to grow with you. If those people refuse to grow with you, that means that they are okay with being left behind. They're okay with not growing. They're okay with staying where they are because that's where they're most comfortable. However, once that person decides to stay exactly where they are, and you go ahead of them and you move forward and you elevate, you get on an elevator and leave them behind, just know for a fact that person will feel like you have abandoned them. That person will feel like you have neglected them. That person will feel like you have betrayed them for leaving them behind. That person will feel like you left them behind, and the reason their life is so down and going downward to the ground is because you left their life. It's never going to be their fault for not coming with you, changing and elevating to come up with you, but it will always be your fault for leaving them behind, for not dragging them with you, even though they didn't want to go. And they are aware of that. So people will use you for them not taking accountability and responsibility for their life. People will use you and blame you for them being stuck in the past, for them being not motivated enough. They will blame you for leaving them behind, for being fake, because ever since you went to school and got your degree, you don't want to hang and you're fake. I can't hang back in the past when I'm trying to move forward. You want me to come back, do 10 steps backward just to meet you? And it's going to harm me. Versus you coming 10 steps forward to meet me, it's not going to harm you. It's going to make you uncomfortable, but you don't want to do the work. And if you don't want to do the work to get next to me on this next top higher level, that means that you don't care to be next to me on the next top higher level. Because one thing you have to understand is that people are going to do what they want to do. People will find a way to do what they want to do. People will find a way to go wherever they need to go. Let me tell you something. I'm from Detroit, and I've seen people collect bottles, Faygo bottles, for 25 cents a pop. 25 cents a pop. And they go to the gas station, to the liquor store, to turn those bottles in to get on the bus, to get to where they're going. They didn't have a car, but they made a way to find some bottles to get some bus money and get on that bus and get to where they need to go. You'll see all the like people who do drugs and stuff. They never got no money. Ain't never got no money. But they always high. They always smoking. They always drinking. They always got new shoes. They always flexing. They always got the latest new Mitchell & Ness. They got the fresh fade, fresh lineup. They got the new J's. They ain't got no car. They ain't got no job. They ain't got no house. They ain't got no income. They ain't got nothing. But they done found a way to get it. And that's what you gotta know, is that when people really wanna be with you in your life and go where you're going, to that new level of enlightenment, the new level of elevation, if they really value you, they're gonna stop what they're doing and get to where you're going, because they don't want you to leave them behind. Because they value you being next to you, you being, working together on that journey to get up there. But beware of those people who turn on you for doing better in your life, who turn on you for wanting different in your life. The people who expect you to bear their burden of laziness, to bear their burden of lack and contentment. Beware of those people who blame you for their atrocities and their lack of. Those people will bring you down when you're up. Those people will find a way to climb a ladder to get to where you are, just to bring you back down. And the thing about it is that when they bring you back down, they don't even want to stay up there. They want to come back down with you too. They will risk their lives to climb all the way up where you are, just to bring you back down with them, to drag you to hell, drag you back to hell with them. You ever seen people or hear a report about someone committing a violent crime, and that person was so jealous that they end up unaliving a person and they get life in jail even though the person is unalived? That person's intent wasn't to unalive that person and get away. That person's intent was to stop that person from getting ahead of them, to bring them back down lower to where they are, and that's 6 feet under. Being 6 feet under is lower than being in jail for the rest of your life. So beware of people who are jealous and envious of your success. People who are jealous and envious of your change. People who are jealous and envious of your transformation. People who are jealous and envious of your cycles, seasons, and phases. People who do not feel the need to change themselves are not your friends. Even some family members, even mothers and fathers, you have to beware of anybody with the spirit lurking and festering inside of them. Don't look at people for who they are at face value. You have to look at that spirit that is corrupting that person, that is latched onto that person to feel that way.